Good morning, my friends. We are back with the Tall Skinny Journal. So this is the same day as I recorded my previous video on this, and I thought, you know what, let's just keep going, and I really want to get it finished up. So it's now afternoon of the same day. I continued working on those things that I said I was going to, like inking and backing, and then I've pre-done some other work or sort of sorted out where I was heading. So without further ado, let's jump in. There's this series of pockets that I made back in a Trash Craft Tuesday video, I believe. And in Billet, so just to refresh our memories, the journal itself is made with spring collage from RachandBella Crafts. And then because I've mislaid those papers, the kit, I'm using now Billet from RachandBella Crafts to complete the journal. And these gorgeous little photographs, vintage photographs, are out of Billet, and I've cut off the borders because I needed to make them smaller. So I've cut off the borders. Two of the photos had rounded corners and three of them had straight. So I've just rounded all of the corners and cut them to size to fit in these little mini envelopes. And I've backed them with a piece of paper from Spring Collage, actually. I think. Yeah, I think I'm right. Mini journaling spots. You could write some dates on there. You could write some important information. You know, whatever. You could write just little fun details. Or you could take them out and use them to decorate the journal. So lots of options there, or some options anyway. Ooh, that one's not going down very far. Why is that not? Maybe that one's taller than some of the others. It is a little bit taller. This one's shorter, so let's put the shorter one at the top. And it still pokes out a little bit, but that's fine. It's within the lace that the journal is edged with. So there we go. I didn't check them, can you tell? Didn't check that they all fitted like height-wise. But yeah, I'm happy with that. So, you know, it's still well within the lace edging. Okay, I'll come back to those. Where's that page gone again? I haven't finished with that page yet. And now I've lost it. Here it is. Okay. So we've got music page here. I'm fine with this music here because we have the decoration. We have some journaling space. That's good. But in here, I would like some journaling space. But I also want to preserve the fun music. So I've got a offcut here of some coffee dyed paper. Isn't it gorgeously speckled? So good. So I'm going to fold this in half. And I'm just going with this random piece. Like, I'm not making it the full height of the page or anything like that. It's just a random piece. And I believe I need to trim some off the side. Yes, I do. So let's go maybe half an inch off. If I need to switch it around so I can measure my half inch. Is that half? I'm trying to compare it to the markings. I'm not sure if that's half. Let's go to that mark, because it's actually on the guillotine as opposed to measuring against the metal plate. Okay, that looks rough enough for my purposes. Okay, just give it a check. And yes, that is good. So what I want to do here is I want to make it like a little flip out notebook, like note paper that's attached, but it just, you know, you can use each side of it. So I don't want to glue it down and lose a complete side. I'm going to use washi tape just to attach it into the fold line. this is not very sticky washi tape, so I will use some glue on it. And we want to go to just about there. It's handy that it's got grid lines on, so I can kind of eyeball where I want it to go to. Doesn't have to be exact. Right, bit of glue stick. And I just run my tape along the top of the glue stick. Sometimes I'll put a line of tacky glue on if I can't be bothered with doing this. But this glue stick's almost out, as you would have heard me talking about in my previous video. I have grabbed out a new glue stick though, so if we run out of that, we are good to keep going. Right, it's got a little red edge on this tape, which was a printing flaw. And now the tricky part is lining it up on that fold line. Running my fingernail down in the join there to press it down nicely. So we now have a usable writing spot, and it just pokes out a little bit past the pockets. Fun writing space, and I think that's just fun. Now on this side we have bigger photos. So why don't we just add one of those in for a bit of decoration. Now, I'm not being picky about what I'm choosing. I do like the pink around this one though. It just brings in a little bit of that other colour. And I think it will make it stand out even more. You know, just draw attention to it. Round slightly curved corners, just a little bit. Grab the ink. I'm just going to go quite lightly around the edge because I don't want to lose that pink. There we go. And I think, going to use tacky glue to glue this on. And where do we want to pop it precisely? Just right in that bottom corner. It's going to be the little surprise when you open the flap and find the writing space and a little hidden image, which I feel references the photos that we have in those mini pockets. Fun little hidden surprise there. Okay, so that's the first thing I wanted to get done in this video. Oh my gosh, I'm so rude. How are you guys? Because it's a carry on from when I was recording earlier. It's like same day for me, but not for you. So how are you? I hope you're doing well. Right, to these 3 pockets I have inked them, backed them all. I did round the corners on these larger ones, which I didn't do on camera. I didn't round the corners, and I was inking around them. I thought actually I want to round those corners, so I did. And we have this piece, which actually goes this way around and that way up. Yes, that way up, which I want to decorate with something. So I do have a few little bits from the spring collage. I've got some hearts there. These ones are a bit big, like they're not going to fit. Not even just a little bit. They are too big. I have these ones. Oh, I thought that was from a different kit, but maybe it's not. I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether this page is from Spring Collage or whether it is from a different RachandBella Crafts kit. I'm not 100% on that one. But it is definitely RachandBella Crafts, and I've printed it 2 to a page so that thus half size. Kind of like this little window image there. Let's grab out my re-scissors. So if you remember, you might not, but I was talking about the weather and how it was going to change, and towards the end of the video I was like, oh, I think maybe the weather might have changed because the wind dropped. I can confirm that it did change at about that precise time. By the time I actually finished the video, the rain had arrived. And it's definitely a lot colder than it was when I recorded Wednesday's video. The temperature has dropped by several degrees, I would say. And I've got a draft coming through beside my desk around my legs. So my legs are a little chilly. But it's not too bad. Like I'm still comfortable. I haven't lit the fire yet. Oh, that's super sweet, but I want some maybe book page or music. Yeah, so it's quite blustery out there now. From a different direction, it was blustery this morning from the north. Now it's blustery from the south. But nothing extreme. Like, we haven't had any hail. We didn't get any swirls of wind. Well, not that I saw, because I was busy videoing, wasn't I? But I did look out the window and it wasn't raining. Is that up the right way? Yes, it is. When I was looking out the window, and I noticed a feijoa had fallen off the bush, and nice, kind of about that size. It's still a little early for them to be all ready, but this particular bush, I've got 3 feijoa bushes. This one's got the biggest feijoas, usually does. Oops. And I had one earlier this week that fell off, and it was just so delicious. And so I ran out and ran. That's probably a stretch. I waddled. Yeah. Out and picked up the feijoa off the lawn. And it's, I think, a couple of days just to soften up slightly, and it will be good to chomp on down. So I love feijoas, and I've got 3 trees, and hubby loves figs, and he's got 2 trees, 2 fig trees. I, for the record, hate figs. I cannot stand them. Every year, I haven't this year yet, but usually every year I will try a bite just to see. And yeah, and we had some fig and honey yogurt a couple of weeks back or so, and I tried a spoon of that, and even that I didn't like. Like, it had crunchy pips in it from the figs, and that's the part that I can't handle because of memories of weevil infested dried figs when I was growing up. It's totally a head thing, I get that, but I will survive without needing to eat any figs. So I try it, and it's like, definitely no. It's a no-go. But hubby likes feijoas, so I don't get all the feijoas to myself. And we haven't actually had many recently. The trees are all small, like none of them are big. They're probably no higher, the tallest one is no higher than probably my waist. Like, they're all small trees. And with lack of water, because we don't water anything, it's survival of the fittest in our property. That's our philosophy. It's actually not really our philosophy, it's just because we don't garden. So we haven't really had any feijoas off our trees for a couple of years. So it's quite nice to have some to eat. Quite enjoying it. And I think if we only get a few, hubby will probably let me just eat them because he's got his figs, and he's got heaps of figs to eat. He can never get through them all because the figs produce really well. So he usually ends up giving them away here, there and everywhere, because they're a definite nope. Right, Right, just felt like it needed something else. Oops, the daisy. Something else down there to balance the composition. Right. Okie dokie, my friends. We are making progress. So that's in there. Now we'll switch back to the one over here and do the same or similar. Right, what would I like to put on this one? Sorry, reaching under the camera. I've these really fun portrait ones, which I think are quite lovely. So maybe we'll use one of these. So this is Billet Doux. Switching backwards and forwards between the kits. And that's the beauty of these kits, is they do coordinate really beautifully. You don't have to stick with one kit and make a journal with just one kit. You can easily mix and match to your heart's content. And if you've got a more eclectic style, they don't even have to complement each other really. You can just totally go eclectic. Beauty of junk journaling, my friends, is really anything goes. Just need a bit more ink on my brush. Just think there's so much room for any aesthetic. You know, whatever your aesthetic is, whether it's bright and bold, whether it's vintage, whether it's grungy or eclectic mix of everything, you can do it. I think that just really fits with the Paris background. This little bit that I tore off the other one, maybe like that. Yep, okay, you convince me. So I'm feeling good about this week. This is only Tuesday and I'm getting a video done for Thursday. That bodes well. That does bode very well for maybe even having a full complement of videos this week, which would be simply marvelous. Tomorrow, in terms of your tomorrow when you're watching this, Friday, I am hoping to have another episode of the Grungy Journal, working on that. So that will be fun. I don't know yet what I will be doing. Just know that it'll be something grungy-ish. That's my thoughts on a Tuesday. Could change. Who knows? I feel like that's just a little bit long. Courage. She looks like a courageous lady. Marie de Lille. Don't know if that's pronounced correctly. No idea. Yeah, I like that. Just a little baby word with big meaning. Courage. I think the ladies, I want to say pioneers. You know, whether it be pioneers, when you think of pioneers, I often think of America pioneers, but pioneers is not restricted to that. It's like pioneers in anything, whether it's medicine, education, language, whatever. But I think that sort of era, there were a lot of pioneers, and they had to have a lot of courage. It wasn't easy. I'm not saying today is easy. Today is quite hard still, but in a different way. Different pressures, different responsibilities. And we've got things that make life easier. Like we've got electricity ready, you know, flip on a switch, there you go. We've got communication. We've got so many things that these people did not. And it just makes it a little bit easier for us this day and age. But we still have our own things that we need courage for. That is for certain. Okay, so that's going to tuck in there. And that page is done. Woohoo! Yes, right. Next thing was what? Let's come back. So we need something there and something in there. I did complete the masterboard. Where did I put? Oh, it's under my mat. That's right. I've inked around these envelopes that I put in those bottom pockets. Inked around the ones that went in the up tucks. So I wanted to mention too, with these big flip ups, they're really long, aren't they? And I don't know whether anyone's thought, how are you going to write on those? You know, pull your journal right down and kind of tuck it under your arm. Well, you could do that, but there's an easier way. You just turn the page over and flip it down and then write. And then when you're done, flip it back over the top of the page and it's hidden. So just in case anyone was wondering how on earth you would actually go about writing on it, that's how. Right, this music page here, I have turned the flap into a tuck spot. So I want to do something for that, and I want to use paper. I'm just going to put some paper in there. Let's put the lid on my words before they run away and have a dictionary explosion. Right, let's grab out some page paper. This is the journal page kit, and I've got one or a couple here that I've actually trimmed the white off of. Maybe this one. And I want to do it vertically, so I need to trim this off because it's too tall. Actually, I'm going to mark it. Do I want this bit? I think I want this bit because it's actually the right orientation. So I'll leave that bit on and go about there to, let's do it to about there. So very simple. I haven't double-sided this. If you don't like the white, then print the other side or ink it up, stencil it, you know, the usual drill, all the things that you can do if you don't want the white. I'm going to leave the white. Oh, what a fun scrap that is. Isn't that gorgeous? Love that. Right. Looking, do I want it to fold it in half? I think it's going, yeah, it's going to be too wide, so I'm going to fold it into kind of a thirdish. I want the edges to overlap, so I'm not worried about getting exact thirds at all, because I think that would be too narrow if I did actual thirds. Just want it to fit nicely in that spot. Give it a test run. Now, okay, that fits beautifully. I'm really happy with how that fits, but I'm wondering whether I need to put it this way round, just so that you're not fighting this edge when you're trying to put it in the pocket. Yeah, I like that. Okay. And I want to do some sort of closure. Maybe I use this strip. I want to try a whale tail. I'm not sure if this is going to work, my friends, so just come along on the journey with me of experimentation and discovery. It's always fun, not always successful. Thinking if I put that there. Okay, I need to ink around it. That's one thing I need. I want it in vertical. Actually, I could do it vertical. Just a different look. And then it's just going to tuck under the closure like that. Do I want it that way? I'm trying to think, does it look silly side vertical? or is it better to go like that? I think it's probably better to go like that, even though the text is sideways. So I'm just going to go up to that halfway point, just slightly back, to allow for the glue to kind of smush, you know how it spreads out a little bit when you apply the pressure. So I'm not going to do it right up to the middle line. Right, and just going to line it up there, again slightly to this side of the center line, just to avoid that gluing itself shut. We'll lift it up while that dries. And let's ink this. Do I want rounded corners? You know what, I do. Just like a little design feature, little fun. So it's going to create a fun cutout when you open it up. It'll have a nice little curved divot in it. Now, do I want those corners as well? Yeah, why not? Let's do all the corners. And now the last one. Right, now we can ink. Just get in under that whale tail. I should have perhaps done it before I put the whale tail on, but it's all good. And I'm just going lightly, I'm not going super heavy. It doesn't need to be heavy. It's quite light, this paper. And you could certainly decorate this up, put some focal elements or something on. I'm not sure that I want to. I'll wait till I've kind of put it back together and see what I think. I was thinking about putting lace down the side, but then when you open it out, you'd be writing on top of lace, and I don't think that would be particularly enjoyable. So no to the lace. So yes, I'm taking the time to do the inside, because it gives it a little something and says that you haven't ignored the white, you've appreciated the white and decided to go with it because we've inked the edge. At least that's how it works in my head. Somebody else might look at it and go, well, they inked the outside, but what about the middle? It's just white. And that would be fair enough, you know. But there's nothing to stop the owner of the journal getting in there with a stencil and using whatever colour they like to give it interest if they so choose. Just because somebody's made a journal doesn't mean that if you buy it that you can't alter it. Because of course you can. You can make it your own. Typically I would ink these creases, but I don't think I'm going to. Not at the moment anyway. I won't put you through that. Just going to give that a nice press down there so it lays nice and flat. What I do want to do is put a butterfly. Butterflies, where are you? Oops, oops, oops. Craft a lunch. These butterflies are a random assortment. This one is from Joey Cardmaker. Oh, I love that. That pink is actually probably just about perfect on there. Just thinking, is there a blue one? No, it doesn't. There's no blue ones. Let's go pink. just a little embellishment. Just hit those edges, white edges. Right. Cute. And very, very simple. Okay. So we've got writing space in there. So we're going to have that same issue with the whale tail of tucking it inside the tuck spot or the pocket, but it's not really a problem. Cool, that's that page done. We are rocking this, guys. I haven't decided what I want to do with the strings yet, which is absolutely fine. Done that one. I put coffee dyed paper down that side of the music paper, and it's so thin that you can see the music in behind, which is quite cool. That one's done. That's the pocket with the envelope. I'm leaving these pages because you could totally write on there in between the old writing. So again, we've got this pocket, but we do have that filled, so it's just that side pocket. I think maybe they are the last things we've got to fill. Are they? It's done. Yes, so masterboard. Right. Clear the decks, lift up my mat here, and grab out my masterboard. Yay! Right, so the first thing I want to do is create a large tag for that tall paper bag pocket, because that's going to be the biggest thing we need. So we're going to go about there. Gosh, it is quite long, isn't it? Quite long. And we're going to go there. And let's do the width. I won't be able to put this in my guillotine, in my small guillotine, because I won't fit. And my big guillotine is currently buried in my office. So we're going to have to find another way of cutting this. Let's go about there. So I think I want to do, whoops, crash, bang crash, do this long ways first. Right, so just using my mat, the grid on my mat, to look at where I'm lining up and hopefully get it straight, and a craft knife. And this is a very awkward angle to be cutting on. It's not the safest, but I can't be bothered switching my craft mat around so that I can cut at a more natural angle. Right, there we go. And then this little bit at the end we can chop with the guillotine. So that's a fun little, that could be a mini tag. Cut a couple of corners and good to go. Oops, just wrangling some stuff that's falling down. Now before I do anything more, I'm going to double check that this fits. So width, it fits beautifully, and height also. So I measured, used loosely, measured well. Does that look straight? That does not look straight. Is it just because the collaging is not straight? Let's double check. So that's 3 7/8 ish. And that, yeah, no, it's not straight. My goodness, guys, how did I one of the mysteries of the world. Yeah, no, it's totally not straight. I don't know what I was doing. So I'm going to make it even narrower, which is a shame, but That's all right. It won't really matter. So I don't know whether I had my piece on the mat crooked or whether I cut crooked with the knife or the ruler was crooked. I don't know. But it's quite substantially out. Right. Oh yeah. It's the adventures of crafting, isn't it? Right. Now, I know it all fit because we've already ascertained that. So let's do a tag top. Cut the angle and then flip it over and line it up with the opposite corner. Super easy way to get your matching tag shape at the top. And voila. Now, I'd like something in the top, and I'm wondering about using my wee slot punch, so let's just do it. Eyeballing, middle-ish, bit crooked, but blind man would be pleased to see it, I'm sure. We can live with it. Do I want to round the corners on this? Actually, no, I'm not going to round them. I'm just going to snip and snip. Give it a quick ink around. Gosh, I'm feeling very much in need of a cup of tea. Someone like to go put the jug on? Make me a cup of tea, please. Just regular tea, milk, and a sweetener tablet if you've got one. Whole milk, preferably. Or if you're in here in New Zealand, I'd say blue top milk. Don't like that green stuff. The green top milk, which is the trim milk, the stuff that's had all the goodness taken out of it and water added in. Yeah. Used to have that. As a family, we grew up with silver top milk, which was with all the cream in the milk as well. And then, oh, okay, did not think about that. We're going to have to deal with that. That's all right. And then Dad had health issues, and you know, the whole health thing of the 70s and 80s where everything was, oh, you've got to have low fat and high carb and all the horrible nutritional stuff that happened back then, which we're still living with these days. It's tide is slowly turning. So we went to the green top milk, the trim milk. Didn't mind it once we'd transitioned. I didn't mind it, but then hubby and I, we were quite early on in our marriage, switched back to the blue top milk. And now if I have green milk, it's like, oh my gosh, that doesn't even taste like milk. It's disgusting. So no offense to anyone who prefers the trim varieties of milk. We're all individual and there's different products because we all have different tastes and different health needs. So no offense meant. Right. So first off, I want to deal with this. Just check we're okay on time. I could just put a strip of something, decorative strip of paper. We've got this fun strip still. Like, you know, almost used like a bit of washi. Although, why do that when we can be a little bit more decorative? Yeah, why not? Just looking at what scissors I've got available. So this is kind of like a stamp edge. We've got a kind of uneven, jaggedy edge. Or I've got a scallop, a larger scallop. Which one do I think? Maybe the scallop. Actually, the hardest one to cut to get straight, but that's okay. We can give it a go. So I line up the edge of my paper with the outside edge of the scissors, and I eyeball that through all the cuts to get a straight line, and then I stop before the end and line up the pattern so you don't get your full length of your scissors. If you do, then you risk getting a straight line where you finish at the end of the scissor pattern, and I don't like that. So this is an upside down scallop the way I'm cutting it, which is fine. It's got pointies instead of, what am I trying to say? You know what I'm trying to say? Let's just call it an upside down scallop. Okay, I mean that's the right scallop there. Actually, let's have a proper look at that. That actually would completely disguise that text, just that little piece there. Do I want to just do that? Let's trim it down a little bit. Okay, why not? Don't have to fluff around doing any more cutting that way. So let's just do it. I didn't expect that to fit over that text. Alright, just going to be careful here so I don't gouge my glue terribly with all those scallops. Be very careful how I line it up so that it does achieve what we want it to. And make sure it's straight as well. Now I didn't ink around it, and I was not going to. I didn't actually think about inking it, but I don't want to because I don't want to make it like a feature. Well, it's kind of a feature, but do you know what? I didn't want it to stand out more. Want it to be a subtle little decorative detail that hides an issue, and I think it's actually quite pretty little addition. So there you go, quick easy way to cover a small issue if you end up with one. Now the problem here is that this is a very large tag. It's very large. So how am I going to decorate it, and how much time have we got? We are getting through the time. Let's clear some space while I have a wee think. I do apologise for the squeaky chair, by the way. Did I already say that? I can't remember. Now, I just spotted this down on the floor, which is Edith Holden. Which would have made a good tag in itself. You know, this paper's quite thick. It's got fluff and stuff from sitting on the floor. I just wondered whether there was something tall, like that. Oh, I don't want to cut the birdie. This is the problem I have with Edith Holden. It's so pretty, and you've got to sacrifice something, and I struggle with that. I really do. Just looking for something tall and preferably in the right colours. Oh, that's quite pretty. That pink flower there might work. I mean, it's still not as tall. Yeah, see, I would like to use this as in my bead journal when I actually get to do it. Maybe that's a little bit small. Let's see what else there might be. It's not really the right colours and it's too wide. Yeah, I set out to use this Edith Holden, and we did, what, a video or two, and then I haven't touched it because I just find it so incredibly difficult to use, because I love it. It's quite the dilemma, isn't it? Quite the dilemma. You see, I've taken it all apart so I can use it. I'm just going through this very quickly, so my apologies if you wanted a closer look. Most of you probably familiar. Maybe this one, this purple one. Yeah, let's go that one. So I'm sacrificing more bees and thistles. Let's Something's got to give. Right. Get Edith back into some sort of semblance of order there. Meadow cranesbill. Never heard of it. So I'm going to do a loose kind of kiss cut, I guess. Whoops, not that loose. Almost chopped off the tip of the leaf. Right, I'm going to remove that section. Make it a little bit easier on myself. And I definitely will not be throwing away the scraps. Well, that scrap, yes, that scrap can go. But larger scraps that I can stamp on or turn into tags or something, nope, I will not be throwing those out. I am looking forward to lighting the fire. Oh yes I am. I'm starting to feel that chill sort of settle in a bit deeper, and it's like, oh, for the comfort of the flames. Right, that piece I will keep. These pieces are going. Feel like I'm on a slalom. Round the corner. Hold on tight. Don't cross the line. Brake as you're going into the corner and then accelerate through the corner. Did you get taught that when you were learning to drive? I don't think young people are typically being taught that. That if you brake when you're in the corner, it's easier to lose control. So brake before the corner and then accelerate around and out of it, and you will have very good control around the corner. But you do need to slow down beforehand. You know, you don't go into the corner at your current speed and then accelerate round it. No, 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 no. Then you'll end up in trouble. But if you if you brake around the corner, then you're more likely to lose control. We were talking about it the other day, that young people don't seem to be taught that anymore. Right, that bit, I'm going to keep it for now. It's a bit scrappy, but oh, that's so pretty though. That's so pretty. Okay, I need something behind it. This is photocopied sheet music, so it's got an interesting quality to it, and the paper's really cheap and it's old, so you know, it gives it an interesting. Now, is that too small? Did I make it too? I feel like it needs to be on something. Do I want to use washi? No, that one's not right. Would I want to use a label? This is probably the last thing we're going to do in this video, guys, because I imagine we're running out of time. Just looking for a horizontal label type thing, which I suspect I may have put away in the packet. You know, because who does that? Who puts things away where they belong? Typically not me. So I know there's labels on top. I'm just having a quick flick through to see what else. Because, you know, it's been a couple of hours since I last looked through, and there we go. Just this little label down the bottom here. Go away. Go on. Shoo. Shoo, shoo. Yes, I like that. And then I want something at the top as well. So let's try our best to glue this up, because it doesn't fit on my glue page. Oh my gosh, someone out there is mowing their lawns in the rain. Well, I guess it's one way to warm up on a cold day. Some physical activity, mowing the lawns, but really mowing the lawns in the rain is not usually that good for your lawn. Right, I don't think I want to ink around the flower, but I do want to ink around the label. La Favorite. Well, yes, Edith Holden is a favourite, even if I can't use it. Who else has that dilemma? Can't be just me, surely. I know there are other reasons for not using Edith Holden, such as the paper's very thick. So sometimes you just don't want something that thick, or it's not your style. I think I'll just put the flower over top. I was going to sit it underneath, but changed my mind. Now I've got glue all around those curves and points. And that paper bag pocket is a nice generous pocket, so I know that this layer of paper is going to be fine in there. Plenty of room for it. And it can be removed for writing on, so for writing on the tag, but also for writing on the page on the other side, so it won't be a problem. Okay, I want to put something at the top as well. Not sure what yet, but we need something up here. There is this cool one that's got some of that purple in. So let's just have a wee look at it and see whether it's what we want. So I still need to assess the journal and whether I need to add any other pockets or not. I don't want to bulk it up too much because of the format. I feel it's a little less forgiving of going too bulky. But it's definitely a writer's journal, what I would class a writer's journal, because there are bucket loads of writing space, and everything I've done is just added more writing space. Yeah, I feel like it's a bit too like the same width. Does that matter? We could put it off to the side, but then we've got this white going on. But if we put it over to that side, we're losing some of the floral. Is there something better to use, I wonder? Let's try something else. Whoops, buried my scissors. Something where I don't have to worry about chopping a bit off because it's just texture and decoration rather than chopping off the main feature. Right, I do like that. I think it's lovely. I think the colours work. See, that's telling me that it's too big. Oh dear, friends, oh dear. No, don't like that either. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to put it in the middle and it's going to mirror this pretty much. And I'm just going to be okay with that. I think it's the best option out of what I've tried. So let's go with the best option and not fuss with it. I do love that purple and how it matches really the Edith Holden flower. There we go. Cool. Right, now just something to go in the top. I would like to put tulle, but there's no way I'm reaching the tulle right now because it's in a stack above my head and I'm likely to be crowned by it, and not in a good way, not in a sparkly diamond cluster prettiness, no, more like in a ouch, now I've got a bump on my head way. Don't think, no, that's not the right colour. Just going through my little bin. This has got a bit of staining of something on it, which doesn't necessarily matter. It's a yellow, don't know what it is, but perhaps a little wide for the slot punch, if I can even get it in there. Oops, I can give this an angle. Oops, had to move my rubbish bottle so I could get at my glass dish of scraps. And it's like, go to put something in the rubbish bin, it's like, oh, where is it? I've lost the rubbish bin. Right, now that yellow, while it's not super bad, I am finding it a little distracting. So my answer to that is to add more colour. Let's just give this the vintage photo vibe, and it will make that yellow just blend in more. There we go. So we haven't got white lace anymore. Come on, get through there. Now, how am I going to attach it? Glue or staple? Actually, why don't we staple? Just have to fish out my stapler. Do I want it that way or do I want it that way? I think I want it that way with the points in the middle, the higher points. Right, let's try and get this done how we want without stapling my finger or anything fun like that. Yeah, that worked fine. Awesome. So it will stick out a little bit. Whoops, dragging everything with the journal. Pop that in there. So I've still got these two side tuck pockets to do. Yeah, I quite like how that pops out the top. I'm losing it, guys. I'm losing it. I think that's where we call it a day. So I've still got those two side pockets to fill, and I need to work out whether I add anything else. So we'll leave it there. I don't know whether I'll finish it up on camera or not, because if there's only these two pockets to fill, yeah, see where I'm going with that? I'm just going to leave it there because my words are failing me. Okay, guys, thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed bringing this journal to this point along with me. Thanks for your company. I really enjoyed having you along. Take care, and I'll be back again, I hope, tomorrow. See you then. Bye.